Hello, all you fine, beautiful, wonderful people. This is Wayne the Musical Hermit here, back once again with another video. And today I am going to be ranking through Tier Ranker the top or ranking the entire discography of Megadeth. So, yeah, Megadeth's one of my all time favorite bands. Fantastic band, amazing to listen to. Has 16 studio albums. So I thought, you know what better way? I think I'm going to keep this as like a Tuesday thing, kind of tier list Tuesday for myself, and just start ranking a lot of different things. And so let's get right into this with the discography of Megadeth. For those of you who aren't too familiar with it, I rank these in these categories. Top tier is perfect album. Just below that is almost perfect. Below that's above average. Then you get average. Then you get like a couple songs. And then the worst category for me is pretty much flat out. I call it abort. Pretty much it's like, don't give it a listen. It's not worth your time. But anyway, let's get into this. Let's start with the first album. And it's going to be Killing Is My Business and Business is Good. That is a great title. Now, where do I put this album in this list? For me, I'll put it above average. I know the original production was a huge issue. I know they went and remastered it a number of years ago, and it's kind of been its own thing now. I do like the remaster of it. I thought it was really good. But yeah, the original, really love the songs. Looking Down the Cross, Last Rites, Love to Death. Let's see what else is on this. I just brought it up on my phone just so I had kind of a reference point for this. The Skull Beneath the Skin's really good. Mechanics. I like a lot of this album. I like this era of Megadeth. You have Chris Poland on lead guitar with Mustaine as rhythm / lead. They kind of switched, I believe, on this album. And you had the amazing Gar Samuelson on drums, which only lasted a couple albums of that lineup, but is what it is. On to the next album on the list, Peace Sells, But Who's Buying? For me, that goes up into perfect album territory. I know that might be somewhat controversial with some people. I absolutely love this record. Fantastic. Wake Up Dead, Peace Sells. The Conjuring is so evil and menacing sounding. It just sends shivers up and down my spine. It's like one of those great metal songs. Love that opening, that song. Also, on here, you have Devil's Island, Good Morning Black Friday, I Ain't Superstitious, which is a cover which Megadeth sort of did through the first three albums, and My Last Words. I love this record. For me, it's a perfect album. I know some people don't necessarily agree, but we all hear music differently, is what it is. Next album on the list, So Far So Good, So What? Oh man, it's kind of one of these where it's almost perfect and it's kind of above average. It's kind of that tier. Uh, I'll put it right here because I think it is better than Killing Is My Business, Business Good, which I have at above average. Uh, perfect, not quite, but there is some absolutely phenomenal songs on this album, which include. Oh, let's just bring. I know it has In My Darkest Hour on here, Into the Lungs of Hell, Set the World Afire, 502 I know is on here, Liars on here, Mary Jane, Hook and Mouth. There is some absolutely killer stuff. This is with Jeff Young and Beckler, I believe it is the drummer on this album. Really good. In My Darkest Hour is one of my, I believe it is my all-time favorite Megadeth song. I absolutely love and adore that track. Absolutely beautiful. a perfect way to really uh, kind of make a statement on the album that they weren't just fast and heavy. They could also write some really gorgeous metal melodies, and that's one of the things I love about this record is there is some good stuff. And yeah, so I will keep that in the kind of almost perfect. Now the next album, which many will call one of the greatest metal albums ever released. For me, this does go up here into perfect album. Move over. Yeah, right there. Rest in peace. Absolutely love this. Holy Wars, The Punishment Due, Hangar 18, uh, Take No Prisoners, Five Magic, Poison Was the Cure, Lucretia, Tornado of Souls, Dawn Patrol, Rest in Peace, Polaris. There is not a weak song on this. This is, I think, if there was a Mount Rushmore of thrash metal records, you could make the argument that Rest in Peace deserves its place on that mountain. With, I think the other albums might be Master of Puppets by Metallica would probably be on there. I think The New Order by Testament deserves to be up there. And then the fourth one you can fight out with whichever one you want. But I do believe that Rust in Peace is a masterpiece, which is one of those albums that is heavy as hell and it doesn't let up. And even at times where it does, the grooves are so good. Dave Ellefson's bass playing on that album is superb. It's the perfect, what a lot of people say is the perfect Megadeth lineup of Mustaine, Ellefson, Menza, and Friedman. And it's hard to deny with that album how good it was. It for me is just a great record, start to finish. Everybody knows it, and those riffs on there are killer. It was one after another, and blows you away. The next album on the list is Countdown to Extinction. I'll put it up here in perfect album. I think it is a run of two perfect albums, one after each other. I love this record a lot. I know there's people out there that kind of don't like it so much. They think it might be a step down. I don't think so. I think this is Megadeth's Black Album, I guess is the best way to put it out there. It really is a good album, start to finish. Has its great moments. There's Skin of My Teeth, Symphony of Destruction. Everyone knows it. It's probably been played massively to death. Architecture of Aggression, Foreclosure of a Dream, which should be in top 5 Megadeth songs probably for me. Sweating Bullets, everyone knows it. Hello, me, meet the real me. Just a great record. High Speed Dirt, the title track I missed. I missed a couple. This Is My Life, or This Was My Life is great. Countdown to Extinction, the title track. High Speed Dirt, Psychotron, Captive Honor, Ashes in My Mouth. There's not a weak moment on this record. I love it. It's one of those where I can put it on start to finish, not skip a song. I kind of like where they're going. It was a lot more, would you say, a mixture kind of between thrash and hard rock. It was that perfect middle ground for Megadeth at this point, and hard to really deny it. Dave Mustaine was on a writing tear of great lyrics. He's always kind of had some really good thought-provoking lyrics at times, and I think on this album there were some great ones, especially the song Foreclosure of a Dream. If you have to go out and listen to one song from this album, listen to that one. Great melody to it. On to the next album on this, which was actually, I believe, one of the first Megadeth records I ever owned. Euthanasia. Where to put Euthanasia? I'm going to put it in the almost perfect. I know Euthanasia is one of those albums where you either really, really like it or it's kind of for you. It To me, it's one of those really great records. I think it deserves its acclaim. It's really good. Some fantastic, fantastic songs on here. You got a Reckoning Day. I know Addicted to Chaos is on here. Let's just bring it up here. Yeah, you got Reckoning Day, Chain of Consequences, Addicted to Chaos, and To Le Monde, one of my all-time favorite Megadeth songs. I love the melody in that song. It's very simple, straightforward, but just beautiful. Elysian Fields, The Killing Road, Blood of Heroes, Family Tree, the title track, Euthanasia. Learned probably the first Megadeth song I ever learned to play all the way on guitar. That and A To Le Monde. I thought I knew it all. Black Curtain's Victory. I think if they would have ended it at I thought I knew it all, you could make the argument that it could be a perfect album. But I think it's those last two for me that just keep it almost perfect. I'm not a huge fan of those last two songs, even though Dave in Victory goes through the whole song and names every title of every song Megadeth ever wrote and found a way to make it into a whole song. And I thought that was actually really genius. Euthanasia, I love that riff, and I love the lyrics to it. Like saying, "We are the damned of all the world with sadness in our heart, the wounded of the wars. We were hung out to dry. You didn't want us anymore. Now we're making up our mind. You tell us how to run our lives. We run for euthanasia." And the cover is so cool looking at it, where it's an old lady and she's hanging up babies. It's kind of feels like a way that it's kind of like the older throwing out the youth. And it's really interesting. It's a great concept. There are some fantastic rhythms on here. Reckoning Day, I believe, has pretty much what I call the drum beat to a Baywatch at the end of it. It's really kind of cool to listen to. And yeah, next up on the list for studio albums is Cryptic Writings. Where to put this? I'll put this at no, I don't want that there. Yeah, there. I'll put Cryptic Writings just ahead of Killing Is My Business. It's still a very strong record. Nothing average so far I found yet. There is some good songs on here. She Wolf, I know, is on here. They play that, or at least when I seen them, they played that live from this album. There's Trust, Almost Heroes, Use the Man, Mastermind, The Disintegrators. It's kind of the first Megadeth album. I can see where Dave was going. It was kind of more in that alternative hard rock kind of feel. And I always classify these next two albums as a Megadeth trying to quite honestly survive the 1990s. I know it's a very kind of unpopular opinion, but when you look at bands like Megadeth, Metallica, Slayer, Anthrax, Testament, all these bands were just trying to survive. And it's kind of weird that like a couple years later they were like, or that they were so celebrated like the early to mid part of the 90s. But then once they kind of went more hard rock, it's like the fans completely were like, nope, we don't like where this is going. But I can see why they did it. It's not one of my favorite. I still think it's an above average album. It's still better than Killing Is My Business. On to the next one, Risk. I know there's a lot of people that would probably have me put this right here. I don't think I'm one of them because I do like a couple songs off it. I'll put it down here. I do like a couple songs. off that album. It's something different, and it's a really, how would I put it? Like, if you're into, like, thrash metal Megadeth and that's all you want, this might not be the album for you. I do like the song Prince of Darkness. I don't hate it. Crush 'Em's not bad. Uh, Time, the beginning, time, the end, I don't mind it, but it's like I said, it's kind of what might be the below average album, but yeah, it's not great, but not their worst. So yeah, it's kind of in there. Uh, The World Needs a Hero. Yeah, I'll put it in average. I think around this time is really where it's the bringing back of Chris Poland at this time. Between that, then and then, it was kind of Gar Samuelson passed away, so it really is an interesting record. I do like the song "A Thousand Times Goodbye." I thought that one was pretty good off of that. That's one I always remember from this record. Uh, Motorcycle's not bad. Dread the Fugitive Mind. Silent Scorn I actually didn't mind, even though it's very short. Yeah, I could even make the argument, kind of thinking about it, could even be there. Yeah, I'll leave it in. Oh, and Promises off this album also is really all right. Yeah, I'll leave it there for now, and then I'll come back to it. Now you get the system has failed. Oh, man, this is really where you get into the hard part of Megadeth. The Scorpion's pretty cool. Tears in a Vial isn't bad. That's I'd even say it might even be, yeah, it's kind of, might even put it there. It's kind of, it is in the I like a couple songs category. Um it's not the greatest Megadeth record. I could even make an argument that that should be the list, but I do like moments on this record a lot more. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the production of these records either. Like, I know this was originally intended, I believe, to be a Dave Mustaine solo album, but there's just something about it. It just doesn't click with me a lot. On to the next album, United Abominations. This is really, oh, this one's hard as well. Where do I put this one? Sleepwalker's not bad. Never Walk Alone, A Call to Arms, United Abomination, Gears of War, Blue for Blood, To Le Mans, Set Me Free with Christina Scabia of Lacuna Coil, Americistan, Your Dead Burnt Ice. I think it's a step up. I'll say it's probably above average. It's not a terrible record. I do like it. Really love the version of a To Le Monde on that record. It's a lot more sped up. Gears of War isn't bad. There's so many on this where I'm like, you know what? There's not bad stuff on here. And that's something that, looking at Megadeth, it's really hard to, in this era, to really pinpoint good, bad, average. because I don't think from Cryptic Writings really on there's anything terribly above average. Like I think United Abominations, I might even overrate it a little on here, just because these three are kind of very weak, in my opinion. There's moments on them, but not enough. Endgame for me, yeah, I'll put it in the almost perfect category. I love this record. It was a huge step up. Chris Broderick entered the band. Forgot to mention, kind of in here, Dave Ellefson leaves in this era. And yeah, but Endgame, this I believe is the last one that doesn't feature Ellefson on it. Mustaine Broderick, James Lamenzo, Sean Drover on drums. Some really good stuff. I'm going to say that. Some really good stuff on here. You had a Dialectic Chaos, an instrumental, This Day We Fight, 44 minutes. 1320, Bite the Hand, Bodies, Endgame, The Hardest Part of Letting Go, Sealed with a Kiss. Great song. Absolutely great song. Head Crusher, How the Story Ends, The Right to Go Insane. I love this record. This is heavy, heavy thrash Megadeth, and it just absolutely works. It's a fantastic, fantastic album. If you haven't listened to it, it was released in 09. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. It's actually a really good thrash record. This is probably the heaviest thing they did since Rust in Peace, and it works. 13. Oh man, 13. Where to put 13 from 2011? Because at this one they had Ellefson back, you have Drover, you have Broderick. Ooh. Sudden Death, Public Enemy #1, Guns, Drugs, and Money, New World Order, Black Swan, Millennium of the Blind. This was pretty much like if you owned any of the remasters of Megadeth albums up to this point, you got pretty much a majority of these were just reworked of the remastered songs on those albums. Where to put 13? But there are some songs on here I really like. Oh man. I'll probably put 13 average. Yeah, I'll put it here. Now on to the next one, Super Collider, the album that got really crapped on when it was released. A lot of these albums from about Cryptic Writings on, I don't listen to very often, so it's going to be interesting to see where I think this goes. I do like Kingmaker. I think the first song on the album's not bad. Super Collider's not bad. Dance in the Rain isn't terrible. I don't mind a lot of these. Where to put Super Collider? I'm gonna put it. Yeah, I'll put it at average. It's. I don't think it's terrible, as a lot of people thought at the time. I do every once in a while go back listen to some songs from here. Whole album, no. There is some stuff on here. I just am like, it's kind of hit the point where Megadeth was still trying to kind of be, I guess, commercial. And to me, it was always a step It kind of felt like Euthanasia Part 2, but I just loved Euthanasia a lot more. It's kind of the same writing style. Hmm. Yeah, I think Average is probably a perfect spot for it. Dystop believe it's Dystopia is the next one. Yeah, Dystopia, that is in S tier for me. I love this record a lot. When I seen them live, they started playing songs from this album, and the more and more and more I started just really listening to the songs that they were playing, made me go out and buy the record. And I have to say, uh, Bread is Real is great. Dystopia is great. Fatal Illusions, Death from Within, Bullet to the Brain, Post American World, Poisonous Shadows, Conquer or Die is fantastic instrumental. Amazing. Lying in a State, The Emperor, Foreign Policy, A Fear cover. Not a bad song on here. I think Kiko, I believe he joined the band at this point for this album. And I also believe Lamb of God, Chris Adler, I believe, is on this as well. Yes, he is the drummer on this album. Great record. Absolutely fantastic. I enjoy it a lot. I think what else I would, because yeah, this is perfect. Like I love the production. I love the guitars. Has a great feel to it. Um, I don't know if it's the fact I've seen them perform a majority of this stuff live, kind of rose-colored glasses for me, but I really love Conquer or Die. That song is top 10 Megadeth. And then the final album, their last album they did, The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead. Ooh, where do I put this record? I'm going to say I haven't had too much with this record a lot over the last couple of years, or since it came out in 2022. I like it. Probably going to put it right here. Above Killing Is My Business and in between Cryptic Writings. Yeah, A lot of songs on here got released as singles. The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead, great song. Life in Hell, not bad. Night Stalkers featuring Ice-T. Dogs of Chernobyl, Sacrifice Junkie, Psychopathy Killing Time, Soldier On. Celebutante, I like that song a lot. Mission to Mars will be back. Good songs on here. Yeah, I think above average. Like a majority of this album, I actually really like. There's something about it that is so heavy, and yet, how do I put this? There's something about it that is so damn heavy and so also gritty, grimy. Production on it is a little bit step back, I believe intentionally. I like the record a lot. It's just at the time I heard it first, it's just one of those where it's like going back and listening and listening and listening to a lot of this stuff. Megadeth, fantastic band. Just gonna, yeah. So that's my Megadeth ranking there. It's see if I can get this up full screen for you guys. So got Rest in Peace, Peace Sells Who's Buying, Countdown to Extinction, Dystopian Perfect, Almost Perfect Euthanasia, So Far So Good So What, Endgame. Then you got the Above Average, which is Cryptic Writings, The Sick, The Dying, and the Dead, Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good, United Abominations, Average, Super Collider 13, and The World Needs a Hero. And only liked a couple songs, Risk and The System Has Failed. There's nothing in Megadeth that I would definitely say abort. I think most fans would probably say abort probably all 5 of these records. But I think when Megadeth is on, they're on. Like, there's nothing terrible in their discography. It's just, I think it's all a matter of preference. Like, these albums down here just had moments, but just not enough as much as these ones did. But yeah, that's my tier list. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. The album down here is the Hidden Treasures album. I've actually never listened to it, so that's why I kind of just kept it off. I know there's Angry Again, which is the song from The Last Action Hero. Love that record, or record movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was one of the ones I seen as a kid, and I always thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, that's my tier ranking for Megadeth. Once again, I have to say, guys, thank you so much for watching. It really does mean a lot to me. Everyone who watches, whether it be now or whether it be later, tell me what you think of my choices. Am I right? Am I wrong? Comment down below. One thing I like here, I'm going to try and start doing a lot more of these tier rankings every Tuesday, just because it's something I can pretty much do within pretty quickly, and allows me guys to interact with you. If there's anyone here that wants to leave a comment, always be on the lookout. I have a ton of polls up for top 10s, ranking songs off the albums. I might actually figure out a way I want to do this. I might actually seen there's a thing in here to present with slides, so I might figure how to get the slides thing working and do those, because I thought, you know what, that'd be pretty cool to do. But anyway, that's my thoughts and opinions. Once again, I say thank you guys so much for watching. It really does mean a lot. This is me here once again signing out. Peace.